Here at the Masternodes, we are not making any claims as to income you may earn. Before entering any agreement, please use caution and seek the advice of a professional advisor, such as attorney or financial advisor.
Please ensure your own research is done before investing any money into the market.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? My name is Nestor. This is my boy Ryan,
Hey, what's going on, guys?
and we are the Masternodes. Thank you guys for joining us today in this special podcast.
Like Nestor said, we really appreciate you guys for joining. Make sure to tap in with us on our socials at the Masternodes. And today we have a very special guest on the podcast with us. Shout out to our good friend Alejandra Corbella. She is a cryptocurrency influencer, educator, and entrepreneur that teaches people all over the world about the power of cryptocurrency.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on today. So kind of what we're going to be going over today is generally, how you, Ale, started with cryptocurrency. We understand that you have a brand, and we kind of just want to have our followers learn about it more, because what we noticed generally in the world, there's not many women entrepreneurs, and we at the Masternodes feel that we need to see more of that, especially people of color, women entrepreneurs, very, very few. And so with that being said, we're always glad to talk to people in our community and, kind of just want to dig into a little bit more about, where you came from, how you got involved in the space, and, where you are now. So what kind of got you interested in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually go back into crypto 2016 is when I first heard about it, but I guess I'll just get started on why crypto makes sense to me. So I am originally from Mexico. I was born and raised out there. Then I came to the US at the age of 15. I went to high school here. When you're an immigrant, everybody tells you, just be a good immigrant, go to school, get a degree, and you do that. And then you realize the system is rigged, and not everybody that goes to college has money, and not everybody that has money went to college. And I remember working my ass off to get a scholarship in college, and I did it. And then once I started going to Tufts University in Boston, one of the best schools in the country, I started to see, my peers were graduating college with hundreds of thousands in debt. They were graduating and they didn't have the job, especially if you didn't get the engineering degree. And, I was going to school because I always felt passionate about teaching people. I wanted to be a teacher. And, that's kind of where I got my first hints of cryptocurrency. I remember there was a classmate that used to mine cryptocurrency. And I always thought he was very odd. I'm a social butterfly. I left at the time, I was always at parties and having fun. And I was like, there's this kid that's like doing computer stuff. He's a little bit of a weird, awkward guy, but he kept talking about Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, he's weird. And then later on, I come to find out that he was mining or doing some type of mining. I think it was Bitcoin. And he got busted by the school university for using the dorm's electricity. So later on, I found out about it, and he didn't get in trouble or like big trouble or anything, but I was like, wait, I always had this very entrepreneurial spirit of making money, and I knew I didn't want to do hard labor like most Latino people that come to the US. They work their ass off doing physical labor. I know that I didn't want to do that, and I said, wait, somebody just made money out of their computer typing something. Like, that kind of caught my attention, even though I didn't really understand it. I started taking some courses in college about blockchain. It still didn't make a lot of sense to me. But what really clicked for me was this whole idea of giving power to people, especially people all over the world, giving access to people that are unbanked, people that are marginalized, people that live in like really horrible regimes, like government regimes, and just being able to give access. That's where like the switch clicked, because the money is amazing, right? Who doesn't want to make money? But it was more about how can you help people around the world have a better tomorrow? And cryptocurrency did that to me. I started doing a bunch of research and like once it clicked, it was kind of like became like an obsession. I was reading about it. I was trading at some point. I was trading it a lot. Right now, I don't trade as much. I'm just more busy doing other crypto stuff. But I was trading at some point, and I started to see again, like the volatility of the market was kind of like, oh my God, I made a bunch of money. Or it's like, oh my God, I just lost all my shit. You know, and I was like, what's going on? So that was like a really interesting moment in my life, that when I graduated college, I wanted to work in crypto. But you know, how can you work in crypto with no experience? Like I was a enthusiast, but I had no experience in jobs or anything like that. So I got out of college. I told myself I'm going to make something happen. And that's when I started doing consultations. So I was offering like crypto consultations. And I just told my friends and family, hey, pay me $30 and I'll sit down in an hour with you and explain what cryptocurrency is. I created a website through like Wix.com. And that's kind of how it started. Later on, I met my business partner, Ashley, through Instagram, actually. We were both women of color that were into crypto. We started a community called Crypto Babes. We grew really fast in Clubhouse at the time to over 20,000 followers. We got, you know, now we're moving into Twitter spaces, doing other things, but it was just super exciting to see how people wanted to know this. You know, we didn't expect to grow so fast, but it was because people had this like really deep desire to learn. So that's just a little bit about me. I hope it wasn't too long.
No, that was beautiful. I actually love what you were saying, bringing power to the people. That's one of the biggest things that I felt was for me, obviously, with people around me that I love, and with being Mexican or of color, it's always bringing your family with you and stuff like that. And that was a really big thing because, you know, I was making money. That's great. But the people around me, they didn't realize that there was a gold mine in their laptops, in their phones, and they could totally access this. And it's easy to kind of do. It's not really simple, but it's kind of just getting into it, getting the action part done. And that's what kind of gets you propelled into this space. Like what you're saying, is kind of like an addiction, right? Right when you understand it, that flip of the switch, right, it turns it on, and it's money from there, right? That's all you see. All you see is Bitcoin, not green. All you see is Bitcoin. So do you have any specialties when it comes to crypto? I know you talk about talking to your family about, you know, investing and all this stuff. Do you have like specific ways you like to invest, or specific cryptocurrencies you're into? Some people focus more on altcoins. Some people are more Bitcoin maximalist. What's kind of your style?
I like to divide my risk. I will say I have different portfolios that I kind of just have this, you know, a small set of my portfolio goes into like highly risk coins that I know I might not get any of my money. I might lose it all, but I'm also okay with it. I do have over 60% of my portfolio into bigger coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's just because it's long term. Me personally, I do believe that altcoins are the future, but I do think most of them will fail, right? And the reason why I say that is, you know, people can shade on Bitcoin maximalists and all of that, which, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But something that I realized being in the space is that Bitcoin maximalists are essential into the space, because a lot of them didn't become maximalists because, you know, they just hate everybody else, but it's because they learned the hard lessons of the ICOs. They learned the hard lessons of like pump and dumps, scams, and all of these different things. And they realized the most censorship resistant, the most secure network is Bitcoin, right? So I do see myself as investing longer term, you know, into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I do like other altcoins. I definitely really like Polkadot. Polkadot's one of my favorite projects. The parachain auctions are happening at the 11th, November 11th. So I'm very excited, ready to put my money in that. Of course, I like Cardano. I mean, Chainlink. Find it very interesting. I don't play video games myself, but I've been really learning more about blockchain gaming and like Axie Infinity and things like that. I was just at a crypto event with them last month, and super insightful to learn the way people all over the world are making money by playing video games, and that's super interesting to me. Again, I don't play video games, but I see little kids play video games, and for me, it's like you see what the younger generation is doing, and that's where the money will be at in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's some of the things I'm interested in too.
Wow, no, yeah, that's I do agree with you 100%. I as well see the gaming industry kind of changing, and even now with non-decentralized gaming, just regular like the standard gaming on either PCs, Xboxes, PS4s, PS5s, whatever it is. People are already making money. That's already a niche itself. So seeing this Axie Infinity pop up, I mean, a lot of people are, saying some, or at least some of the negative things that I'm hearing is that, it's a fad. It's not going to last long. It's the quality and graphics of the game are terrible. But what these people don't understand is that this is a new and emerging market. There's going to be these kind of tweaks and kind of adjustments that need to be made. But essentially what I believe these cryptocurrency companies and conglomerates are doing is they're setting up a ground floor, a standard for essentially what's to come in the next, like you said, 5 to 10 years. So when it comes down to it, I believe the gaming industry for cryptocurrency really has a lot of room to expand.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. And then you could think about, well, me as a gamer, like I've played a lot of video games from COD World War II to like up, and you could imagine if zombies stayed the same, or if just Call of Duty in general just stayed the same from ground zero. The graphics were horrible, the servers were trash. There were so many hackers and scammers. But now we're at where we're at now, and you could see it's only been what, 5-10 years of growth. And that's pretty crazy to think that we're just in the beginning of these now NFT games. Axie Infinity, you're able to like breed kind of like Tamagotchi Pokemon type things. And you're able to breed them, grow them, feed them, they could die. And that's pretty crazy to think about. You could imagine they have virtual race horses now that you could actually breed, make faster. And imagine virtual betting with these racehorses, right? So you don't have to actually buy a whole racehorse anymore. You could just buy one through the blockchain, do races through there. Imagine joining with a headset, being there live. It would be pretty crazy, just to think where we are now versus where we could be in the future. And that VR, the meta world, the metaverse, it's coming. Zuck already put his thumbnail on it. He has his name hold changed to direct all of Facebook's resources to the metaverse. And when that happens, I mean, it's just a matter of time, not a matter if you want to or not. It's going to be, okay, how are you going to join the metaverse? Is it going to be through virtual sewing classes? We can have taekwondo, exercising, virtual gyms. Like there's so many different things for so many different types of people that it's just fun to see where we're going to go.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. And I kind of want to go back to something you said a little bit earlier, Ale. You were talking about, your Crypto Babes company. Can you give us a little bit more information about that to the people so that way they could, see where they could find your information at, kind of dive into your work a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So we started Crypto Babes last year. We're a community. We're technically not a company. I will envision it as a DAO eventually. That would be great. But we're still, again, like working on it. I know Ashley, my business partner, she has her own academy. She's like a very busy woman. So we do Crypto Babes just kind of like a way to give back to the community, to educate the masses. But yeah, we started as a group in crypto in Clubhouse. And then we started to see, the reason why we started it is I remember going in Clubhouse, and this is when the pandemic was full pandemic and people were not going out. There were no such thing as like live crypto events. And we really wanted to talk to other people. And I remember going into some online rooms, and the guys will speak over me, or like they wouldn't even let me talk. And it was just very frustrating because I knew that what I had to offer was valuable. And there was just not that many spaces. And although some guys were very respectful, there were some guys that, again, you find the maximalist, you find the guys that just speak over you. And with Ashley, we said, hey, how about we create a space that is for women? Of course, men are welcome, but we're going to talk about all things from technical analysis, from technical conversations about, coding and DeFi and things like that, to very basic things of like, what is Bitcoin? What is crypto? And we started like that. We started doing rooms. We started growing very rapidly, letting other people, come in. And then now we started Instagram. We started or Twitter. We're transitioning now into Twitter Spaces, since Clubhouse is kind of dying a little bit engagement wise. But yeah, we're just a community of woman by woman, looking to educate other women. But yeah, it's an exciting place. If you guys want to follow me individually, I'm sure we can drop my link in the description, but it's Ale Corbella _ and I talk about crypto. I post about my life because yes, crypto is amazing, but what crypto is gonna do for us goes beyond money. It's about democracy. It's about giving power to the people. It's about access. It's about freedom. And those are the things that make me really passionate. And you'll find me on Instagram, on Twitter, same handle. Also in Reddit. I'm in a bunch of social media, crypto social media. So yeah, you guys can find me there.
It's great. It's a beautiful thing. Community of people just looking to improve each other. That's kind of what we're about as well. I love that we're able to do it for free using Instagram, and we're able to touch so many lives and just impact all these people, help them make money most of all. But right now we're going to talk about kind of the topic of today, which is concerns about the market. A lot of people, beginners especially, they love to spout these things out. They don't really understand. They could not really understand what these things are, but we're kind of going to break it down. Why you should maybe be concerned, maybe you shouldn't be concerned. These are things that definitely we need to talk about. So first things first, we want to talk about volatility. So what that is just a large fluctuation in price. It could go up, it could go down. You have these all the time where they're saying crypto's dying, crypto's dead. Bitcoin's dead, it's gone down 30%, it's going to zero. You hear all this talk, but right now, where are we at right now? Hitting all-time highs once again. So just so we know, this stuff will happen because it is a new market. Things are volatile, things go up, things go down. And especially in new markets, they're run by fear and they're run by greed. So we have big banks who are influxing a lot of money, which could cause the price to go up a lot, and then they pull it out and it could go down a lot. So that's basically what it is. And this is how we can kind of fix that. If we are investing for the long term, then this volatility doesn't really affect you as much. So if you're holding on to it, yes, your money could have gotten down or gone up in value, but in reality, it's all about amassing more Bitcoin and growing that portfolio. So volatility is a big thing, but it's something that can be handled. And if you're investing more than you should, then this is something you're definitely going to be worried about. So if you're investing way too much money, then something that you should kind of learn to mitigate risk-wise.
Yeah, and kind of speaking about investing more money than you should, I kind of also want to talk about another concern, which is oversaturated markets. So an oversaturated market is essentially an excessive amount of coins that solve the same problems and could lead to a crash in the market. So, for example, we see like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin, although they may have their, slight differences, the general understanding of it is supposed to be a currency that's used on a daily basis. But we see that these currencies pop up that are supposed to be used on a daily basis, like cash, like, Bitcoin or XRP or I can't even think another one off the top of my head, but those are just some of the examples that I could think of that where they have the same general use cases. So when it comes to concerns, what do you guys think about, use cases being oversaturated in this market currently? Because, from what I remember looking at the charts, I believe there's only over like 10,000 coins right now. So of course, not all of them are going to be winners. We're going to have many losers. But what do you guys think about, the oversaturated market?
I will say most projects will fail, and I'm not want to be pessimistic, but that's just the truth. Projects will fail. I think the ones that will make it through are the ones with the biggest partnerships. The ones and then people, people that say, well, the market cap can lead you, but it has to be your use case. What do you do outside of, for example, Dogecoin and Shiba? When people tell me, oh, it is the future, I'm like, listen, if Shiba gets listed as a payment method for a stadium or a payment method for a grocery store, that's a use case. If you don't have a use case, then long term, it could be community led. It could stay for a long term, but at the end of the day, I think use case is super, super important. There is a lot of projects, for example, in the metaverse and the oracles. There's different projects that are looking to do, Ethereum killers. There's so many projects doing Ethereum killers. I think few will make it. And at the end of the day, no one can do what Ethereum does. There's the saying that says, everybody wants to be Ethereum, but nobody wants Ethereum problems. Main example is Solana, right? When people were saying, oh, Solana is the true Ethereum killer, and no shame in Solana. I think Solana is a great project for NFTs. I'm a huge advocate for Solana NFTs. But people were saying, Solana is the best. The moment they had a huge amount of people coming into Solana, the network shuts down. It goes, it couldn't work for, I think, 72 hours. Now, again, right, people will say, oh, I want to be Ethereum, but are you ready to face the issues that Ethereum has? And that is the scalability. If you have hundreds of thousands of people entering your platform right now, can you handle them? Because everybody says, oh, we do all these transactions per second. Cool. How about when you have real people coming in and using your platform? Can you still show me you have those projects? There's a lot of projects, like, for example, I know there's a lot of people that do Hedera Hashgraph, Solana, Polygon, that's a layer 2, but they say, oh, we do this much transactions per second. But unless you can show me that a huge amount of people are using it and you still have that same transaction time, then good for you. But, I guess I just want to see that it's actually true. Because a lot of people like to ship Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is what got us through what we have today. Without Bitcoin, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But yeah, there's a lot of saturation. My biggest concern is, Bitcoin has 21 million, and a lot of projects are just like creating more, paying developers and doing a bunch of not pump and dumps, but rather, for example, crypto.com. If you look at the Crow token, they've been going through some major ups and downs, same with Binance Coin. I think that's very sketchy, because how come, crypto.com just sponsored all these sports games? I wouldn't be surprised if they're using, the exchange's liquidity to pump the token or to do a bunch of stuff. And of course, not proven, but, Binance is a little sketchy. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of saturation. I think exchanges long-term have a good success rate because they're exchanges. But the moment they get hacked, the moment there's a lawsuit, the moment something happens, it's not guaranteed that they'll stay for the long term. That's just my opinion. I think it has to do a lot with credibility.
Yeah, I think that's totally true as well. That's why one of my great idols, or not idols, I would say like my investor mentor, Ian Dunlap, shout out to him. He basically says that you want to pick the winners, right? If I were to pick a stock, Apple versus Nokia, they both do the same thing, make phones. But I would rather have an iPhone than a Nokia phone. It's all because of, like how you're saying, credibility. I understand that Apple's going to be here for the long term. I know at one point in my life I'm gonna be buying the iPhone 30, right? So whether or not I'm here or not, Apple's gonna be here. It's gonna have it has enough money to survive any another COVID. It could be COVID 26. It'll survive it because of just the cash that it has on hand. So I know it's surviving. Bitcoin, I feel, is like one of the apples. It's had enough of struggles and it's gotten this far and it's the first, so it has all this credibility. All these people that are holding and buying it, they're not selling. It has, like, the people who have bought Bitcoin and held it for longer than a year, they've been profitable. I'm not going to say 100%, but 80+% have been profitable. So we're thinking about picking the winners. When you think about the coins at the top 100, 90% of them in 2017 are not here anymore. So we definitely got to make sure that we're picking the winners. But also, if you want to, there's other coins that you could use your capital to risk. And like how Ale was saying, she knows that some of them aren't gonna go to a million X. Some of them can even go to zero, but she's okay with risking that because she understands how much she's risking. Now I kind of want to talk about, like,
I will say something really quick. It doesn't mean this is not a good opportunity to trade. If you're a trader, make sure you take advantage of those ups and downs in the market. And if you're doing leverage, you can actually profit when the market goes down too. So what I'm saying is, listen, we know most of these projects are not going to be here, right? Choose the winners. That sounds great, right? But how can you profit right now? You can do trading, you can do liquidity providing. I cannot emphasize doing partial profits. You don't want to be that person that was a millionaire once, lost it all, was a millionaire again, didn't catch out. I know people like that, that at one point, when Bitcoin was hit 20,000, they became millionaires. They're like, oh no, like I have to keep holding, dumps back, and they're not longer at that income bracket. So take partial profits. Crypto is great. I see crypto as a tool to accomplish your other dreams. I see crypto as a tool to reinvest it into other assets. I believe in multiple streams of income, and although crypto is not something I love, hey, why don't you invest in other generating assets, whether that's real estate, whether that's an e-commerce business, whether that's whatever it is. You want to have a diversified portfolio of tokens, a diversified portfolio of income. And crypto is a great tool because, trust me when I say this, rates that we're getting from a volatile market, we might not have it, in the next 5 to 10 years, kind of like stocks.
Yeah, and kind of talking about stocks a little bit, I wanted to just give some food for thought. Something to look into definitely that EYL, or Earn Your Leisure, recently talked about in one of their podcasts was tech stocks. In specific, they were talking about the manufacturers and charging companies for electric vehicles or for EVs. As we all know, climate change, for those of okay first of all, climate change is a legit thing. For anyone that disagrees, at me.
Unsubscribe.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm literally telling you to at me, because it's just it's crazy. It's honestly crazy to think that climate change isn't real. So keeping that in mind, when it comes to traveling is one of the highest emissions, besides home consumption, is one of the highest emissions for carbon in our environment. And so what I think personally is, I think the EV industry is going to go up. Going back to EYL recently said the same thing. They believe that the EV industry is going to boom over the next 15-20 years. And so we're all about those long-term goals and those long-term investments. So one thing I would definitely look into, if you guys are interested in stocks, is definitely the EV industry, because the EV industry, I believe, and EYL does too, like I said, is going to be blowing up in the next 20 years. And that could be anything from Tesla to, the charging companies that set up charging stations all along, freeways, highways, whatever it may be, to charge these electric vehicles. Not only that, we also have hydrogen powered cars. The amount of user and earth friendly accessibility is popping up. So y'all don't want to be slacking on this. I'm telling you.
Something I did want to touch on that Ale was talking about was like diversifying your income. I 100% believe in that. We cannot live anymore with just one source of income. Our parents did it. That's great. They're not going to be able to survive anymore off of this just one source of income. Our grandparents did it fine. They literally were able to retire. They were able to have a 401k. They were able to own their house free and clear by the end of it. And that's great. But the way we are living now with inflation, um, with the fact that jobs just aren't what they used to be anymore, we're not going to be able to just live off one source of income. So, some ways we can diversify our income using cryptocurrency. I'm going to drop a few gems right now. We have Celsius, which actually gives you an additional percentage. If you're holding on to your money, you're not going to touch it, then getting an additional percentage as passive income is amazing. On Celsius, you can earn like 6%. It kind of depends on where you live though, but like 6% in passive income. So I earn per week, every week, money's coming in without me working, even though I'm sick, even though my leg's broken, that money's coming in with or without me. There's also you could stake your money. Staking with Ethereum is going to be big soon. ADA staking is a great way to earn additional percentage on your income. Another way, liquidity pools using DeFi, that's going to give you that additional percentage. There's tons and tons of ways to do this. Some of the newer ways popping up that we're kind of I like to discuss a bit are NFTs. So NFTs are actually giving passive income. Just depends on what NFT you're investing into. So remember, same thing with cryptocurrency. When you're investing into something, you have to make sure there's utility, make sure there's purpose behind it, make sure that it's sticking around, because if you're wasting money on it, trying to get that passive income, but that project goes to zero or isn't sellable anymore, then you're at a loss. It's over. So making sure that you're able to get utility off of that. Some of these NFTs actually offer royalties. Some of them offer basically they're kind of like stock for, I've seen some that are stock for like a casino. So any income that they get a piece of it. So they're getting income every week. They're able to diversify their income using that NFT, that thing. So for those people who think, is it just a fad? Is it going away? Is this NFT stuff just dumb? Is it just dogs that people are just buying pictures of dogs? Or is it a lot bigger than this? What do you guys think?
That's a big conversation. I will just add for royalties, when we're talking about NFT royalties, if you live in the US, I would just be careful with them, because there's a lot of, and if you live outside of the country, great, good to you, take advantage of them. There's like a big discussion whether they're considered securities. I have some friends that are doing law in crypto. Again, there's not like a set law for it just yet, but for exchanges, I know Coinbase is going to be dropping their NFT platform very soon. They probably won't be adding royalties. FTX listed a bunch of Solana projects, and they're not allowing royalties anymore because of that same issue. So something to look into, but I think royalties are great, but again, there's different types of royalties, right? There's royalties like if you're a creator, and those royalties will not be considered by the SEC as, and again, no financial advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just talking from friends that are in the law space. What they mentioned to me is that they wouldn't be considered securities just because you're the original artist and you're basically getting paid for your art. So every time it gets sold, you get a percentage of it. However, if you're just a holder, then that will be considered a royalty. I'm sorry, a security, because you're speculation and things like that. Not sure, but I will say with NFTs, I'm curious, skeptical, worried, and excited at the same time. Because it's just NFTs are great. I was gonna be in NFT NYC, I just couldn't make it. And you're starting to see fandom, like things like board, yeah, like the ape board ape, sorry, I always get it wrong, but those NFTs are selling for like millions of dollars, and I'm like, what? But at the same time, it's about community. So something that I realized when picking a successful NFT that I've seen, is where's the community at? Because crypto, like anything, is a social construct. It's about who believes in it. So I think there's a huge space for growth. I do think most NFTs won't make it, but those NFTs that really do make it could go crazy. I mean, look at Beeple, look at all these NFTs are selling for huge amounts of money if you're looking to really make money out of it. Now, I will say the way I think about NFTs is that they're very risky in the sense that they're not liquid. They're very illiquid. So that means that you only make money when there's somebody that's willing to buy it from you. So for me, is the idea that makes it a little bit, makes me a little skeptical is, with crypto, if I want to cash out, I can go into Coinbase, I can go into my exchange and cash out. With NFTs, it's not always like that. It has to be somebody that buys it from you. And I'm not bashing against NFTs. I'm just saying, just keep in mind that they're more illiquid, that, you might not get the quick the quick flip, but there is money, how to invest it. I know people that are doing like flips, like quick flips. They get into this airdrops and sell right away. I know people that hold long term. There's people that just buy cool projects that they like, and then by luck they get rich. I'm very excited. There's a project that is launching, and I've looked into NFTs before, and all the ones I always wanted to buy, I never get them. I guess I just get late, or the airdrop, just I haven't gotten. But one that I'm really excited, I'm really looking forward, is going to be a Loteria NFT. So they're going to have, for those that are Mexican, that Loteria is what's up, is going to be in Solana as well. So it's really exciting what there's going to happen. And they're going to be also be done through a nonprofit. So the funds that get collected is going to go to support Latino engineers. So I'm all about the cause. So even if I don't make any money, I just feel genuinely happy to support this. But yeah, just some of the things I'm excited about.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you when it comes to NFTs. You do want to be weary of the NFTs that you're investing into, because if like you said, if no one wants to buy it, then you're kind of SOL. But okay, so going back to, and I'm gonna go ahead and tag or link it in the video so you guys go ahead and check it out with our boy Jordan, NFT educator. He actually was going over NFTs with us, and before that, I kind of was very skeptical about NFTs. I thought NFTs, I was one of those people, to be honest. I thought it was just a fad. People were going to get over it in a couple of weeks. And then I started, we had that meeting with Jordan actually, and the podcast came out, and I was going over, I was watching it. And as I was watching it, someone in my friend group, his name is Warren, he actually was flipping NFTs. He was making money off of, purchasing, getting into the trend before it popped off, and then selling it. So he actually put me on to originally these NFTs called Crypto Foxes. I myself was able to flip it and sell it off of my hands. I don't know how, but he somehow knew when to enter the market, and then gave me a heads up, said, hey, if I were you, I would consider selling it, because, I wouldn't want you to lose your money. But he's not a financial advisor himself. So it was kind of just like, okay, well, I kind of am going based off of his, opinions. And, sure enough, it ended up failing after I sold. So kind of grateful for that. But with that in mind, I started to think about when it comes to NFTs, why are these NFTs so expensive? We, like you had mentioned earlier, Bored Ape Yacht Club. The utility for that is kind of, you're in an exclusive club that, you have celebrities, you have comedians, you have people high up in the tech industry going to these meetups and networking. You're essentially paying for a membership to network with these NFTs. So I started looking into it a little bit more, and lo and behold, I came across this NFT called Diamond Crypto Dunks, which is owned by Diamond Supply Company, the clothing and skating brand. And I got into it because I started seeing these NFTs. Not only, are they supporting the cause, however, it's giving me the opportunity to join a community that could be excellent and could take you places for networking that you would never believe would take you. So one thing I believe that makes NFTs stand out, and definitely not just a fad that's gonna, die off in a couple years, is the fact that there's this idea of memberships giving you the ability to network and go out and create these connections. It's insane to think about.
And I actually want to talk about, I don't know why I love talking about NFTs right now. This is something that I have gotten into a bit, but I think the potential for them is just insane. So I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. Basically, let's just say that you're an artist and you need capital. Before, you would have to go to an industry like, I don't know, Jay-Z's, whatever it's called. But I don't know what it's called.
Rock
But
Nation.
Rock Nation. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, you would go to Rock Nation, you'd be like, hey, I'm a sick rapper, I'm gonna spit some bars. And he really likes it. And then he's like, okay, here's $1,000,000, make that into a music video, promote it, have fun. But you owe me those $1,000,000. Remember that. So after you've made your money, you're making money. Some of the royalties he actually keeps, and you still owe him the $1,000,000. So he's making passive income off your money, off of your music video, and he's still making that $1,000,000 back. So that's what normal industries do now. But with NFTs, if I'm an artist and people like me, I get 1,000 people that are like, hey, bro, I rock with you. I bought your album. I love it. And I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna give you an opportunity right now to buy this NFT. And what that's gonna do is you're gonna give you 1% royalties of all my music for this album. And people buy 1,000 of them. Right there, you've made $1,000,000. 1,000 people buying $1,000 NFT, $1,000,000 like that. And now you're actually able to share the success with your fans, and you're able to make instant capital to support yourself. You're able to make that music video. You're able to make that passive income. You're able to market yourself the way you should. So this is crazy. It completely takes out labels from the question. You no longer have to have labels. And this is just from that music standpoint. So you could imagine all the different types of things we could start up. We could basically bootstrap with when it comes to terms of like, okay, I really like a project. I really like the community. I'm gonna invest some money. They're gonna do with what they want, and I'm gonna be able to get that passive income. So it's cool to think this is where we're at right now. We're selling doggy pictures and cat pictures and weird pixelated pictures, and they're gonna turn into no labels. They're gonna turn into, I'm gonna be able to market myself freely. I'm gonna be able to invest into projects, all around the world. And it's gonna be crazy to think. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, and definitely what I want to do is I want to do a quick shout out to Alejandra for joining our podcast today. We really appreciate it. We definitely are going to have you on again to go over some more concerns about the market. But that kind of just wraps it up for today's podcast, guys. Thank you all for joining. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Google, whatever it is, all at the Masternodes. We could be found for our podcast on YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all your other favorite podcast sources. And I'm just going to hand it over back to Bella so she can let you guys a little bit know. I'm sorry. I'm going to have it. Bleh. I am going to hand it back over to Bella so she could let you guys know about her socials.
My socials are Ale Corbella _. You can find me there. I'm also in Twitter. Those are my main social media, Twitter and Instagram. LinkedIn as well, if you want to talk about business. Alejandra Corbella. And yeah, that's all about me.
Cool. Yeah. So make sure you guys tap in with Ale. If you guys have any questions, she can go ahead and answer them for you guys. But that kind of wraps up today's podcast. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it, and bless up.
Yeah, guys, have a good one. Make sure to choose kindness.